flag in the air, and he's going to house it.
It's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another Angle of Pursuit podcast. This is the Quick Six, your weekly six picks for the NFL and college football slate. With college kind of taking a break, we'll try and mix in some bowl games as we see fit. Brian Twining is joining me as always to break it down. Brian, how's it going?
It's going great. It's another week of the NFL. It's NFL Week 15, uneffing believable. Yeah. We have just 4 weeks left in the regular season, and then the playoffs get going. I'm excited to dive into this week's slate and hopefully begin the long way back up to 500 to end the season.
It's been truly a wild season. The season is flying by. Obviously, no college this week, but we get 3 NFL games on Saturday, which helps kind of helps make things a little bit more easy. Let's recap the week that was before we dive into the week that is. We'll start with my card, Army Navy under 32. That is a bet I would make 100 times out of 100. That was the right side. They were 10-10 at the end of 4 quarters. They scored 20 points over the course of 4 quarters, 2 touchdowns total. And then in the first overtime, decided that we're going to score. Each of us are going to score touchdown and go over for the first time in I think 17 years. So that one stung a little bit. I was very excited when I looked at the box score and I saw it was 10-10. I was like, all right, just get a nice little easy field goal. I should have known overtime was going to kill me. But like I said, I would make that bet 100 times out of 100. I thought I was even going to get a little sneaky with like, oh, maybe the Navy misses the extra point and then I cover,
yeah, right.
Make it easy. But I did come through on Sunday with my Detroit Lions team total, win, cover, team total over. All the Lions bets came to fruition, which was great. And then shouts to the Broncos, to Mr. Unlimited. I had kind of thought, oh, well, that bet's dead when it was like 24-0. And the Broncos figured it out. They put some stuff together. Jerry Jeudy, I believe, scored 3 total touchdowns and made it an interesting game. And then the Chiefs got the ball back with about 4 minutes to go and just sat on it and let the clock run out. So covered the 10. So I was very happy with that. And actually, that was good. We got some good line movement. I think it closed at the Broncos +8 or so. So
yeah, and I was surprised that it actually went that direction.
Yeah,
I
me
thought
too.
For sure it would actually go up into the double digits.
I thought we were getting double digits for sure. So, but yeah, I'll take my 9.5. I'll go to the bank with it and be very happy. Obviously, the money line for Navy did not come to fruition. They ended up actually firing their coach after the game. So
unbelievable.
Shows you where that team is at and kind of the rough season they had. The Vikings team total. Man,
that was disgusting.
I think they scored 23 points. It was right there. They had
so many possessions that they could have scored, and they looked like crap. This was like primetime Kirk Cousins on an afternoon Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, they had the yards, they had the possessions, they had everything. They should have gone over. Justin Jefferson had a monster game. Didn't matter. So they unfortunately did not, but the Eagles -6.5 was the rocking chair bet of all rocking chair bets.
Should have just went full 10, and that was the only wager of the week.
That was a beautiful call. So that was a nice play there. So we'll shift over where I am 28-17 on the season. Starting to pull away a little bit, Brian. We're very reminiscent of the end of our NASCAR season, where you pulled away and I was left in your dust. You're 20-24, not too bad, but the units have been less than ideal. So, but that's okay. We got time. We can jump into it. We can figure this out, and we can make some bets. Where I will start with a Saturday game for the NFL, and I'm going to take those Miami Dolphins +7.5 at the Buffalo Bills. I feel like this is a great spot to buy low on the Miami Dolphins, who have gone 2 games, national TV, not look good, got dominated by the Niners, and then obviously lost to the Herbie Fully Loaded and the San Diego LA Chargers. But now they go on the road. They face a Bills team that I believe hasn't covered in like a month and a half, almost 2 months. The Bills, like they're almost kind of just like trying to get to the end of the season, get where they need to be, run the ball a little efficiently, make a few plays when needed. Obviously they've beaten some teams, but they have been failing to cover in a lot of situations. And I think the Dolphins can do enough. I think they can run the ball, especially if we get the snow that seems like we're going to get. I think they keep it within a touchdown, and Caesar's given me 7 and the hook. I'm going to take it. I'd be fine with 7. I don't love it. Anything less than that, I'm definitely avoiding or running away. But I will take the 7.5 with the road team in this spot.
Yeah, this is an interesting game to try to prognosticate, especially because neither of these two teams are run first. You would say, like, they're not built to play in this type of weather. I mean, the Bills' best attack in this type of game is probably going to be Josh Allen running the ball. I know they're trying to get their running backs fed a little bit more with James Cook and Devin Singletary, but for what Miami does on offense, I think if they can get the ball out quick and get Tua and Tyreek and Jalen Waddle a little more connected than they've been the last couple of weeks, they definitely keep this a little bit closer than what Vegas thinks.
Yep. We'll shift our focus to your first play, and then that is a total where you're going with the Dallas Cowboys at Jaguars over 47.5.
Yeah, I feel like people are kind of overrating what the Cowboys do on defense, and I've talked about this all season about the fact that they are the ultimate bend but don't break defense, and they've been breaking a lot more often than we thought they would have. I mean, last week Houston had every opportunity to win that game. Jacksonville's offense is rolling right now. Trevor Lawrence looks like the number 1 pick. He looks like the guy we thought. He's getting Zay Jones, Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram of all people, and then they still have Travis Etienne, who hasn't even played all that well the last couple games. I think he has a big spot this week. And then, of course, the Cowboys are going to be able to move the ball, especially with little T.Y. Hilton coming in this week.
What is that? Can you explain that to me? What is our thought process there? They're like, you know what?
I feel like he's a cheap alternative.
And Michael Gallup and Noah Brown and James Washington, who was finally active. Like, that's not enough.
Well, I think the reason why they're signing a T.Y. Hilton is because he's the veteran presence that will be able to kind of find the soft spot in the zone. Like right now, the only guy they have on the roster that does that is Dalton Schultz, and he's not going to blow the top off of your defense. Now, that's not saying that T.Y. Hilton is going to run past anybody at this stage of his career, but teams are now going to have to worry about him in that 7 to 15-yard intermediate range, which should open up the deep pass to Washington, Gallup, and then CeeDee Lamb on those deep posts and stuff like that. And it's a cheaper alternative to Odell.
I think it closes the door on Odell. So
hopefully,
I'm not sure if he's actually going to play this year or if he's just doing the song and dance to keep his name in the media, so we can think about next year. I like this call. I like this call because there's a couple ways where it works out. I think there's obviously shootout potential. Both teams score a ton of points. It looks like fast pace. Maybe even the Cowboys pull away late and cover with ease. There's also a 40-10 game, and the Cowboys defense makes a couple pick sixes or forces turnovers or does that kind of stuff too and just blows them out. Either way, you get there and you end up with the cover town. So I like that call. I will stay in the NFC East, and I will go to Washington as the Commanders host the New York Giants. I know the Giants stink. I know they're not very good. I know they're falling apart, but you know who else isn't very good? The Washington Commanders. These two teams.
This line is too big.
They couldn't figure out who to win, so they both just tied. I think this is a field goal game either way. I'm getting more than a field goal with the Giants. I think they can keep it close enough to cover this number. Taylor Heineke is not blowing anyone out. So yeah, give me the Giants on the road. Daniel Jones runs for one. Saquon's looking fine to play. I don't think there's any reason to worry about that. And I think, NFC East rivals. I think it's a close game. I think it's a gross game. And I think one of these teams wins by 2 or 3 points.
Yeah, to me, this line is they've built this in that maybe Saquon's going to be limited for some point of the game.
I think
like
it's because the Giants have looked like garbage for the past couple weeks, but I think that's more
weren't
about
the
who
Giants
they played.
winning by a touchdown at one point the last time they played, which was only 2 weeks ago, and the Giants were dealing with these same exact injuries that they are right now. They've only gotten healthier since.
And this was the game. Honestly, like I know last week stunk, and like they want to play well against Philly, but that game, for all intents and purposes, didn't matter. They had to beat Washington to try and get the last spot, so they just didn't really. Okay, we're getting our butt kicked. Let's just let it happen. And
there's a different like Washington and Philadelphia are at this stage of the season are on different levels. Skill.
Washington is like the Giants, and the Eagles are one of the best teams in football.
Exactly.
It's almost like you have to factor that in. So yeah, I'm all over the Giants here. Let's go to your next game. And we now got another total. This time we're going under 36.5. And as gross as that sounds, I love every minute of it. So talk to me about the Cardinals at Broncos under 36.5.
All right. Kyler Murray's out.
Yep.
Russell Wilson is in concussion protocol.
Yep.
That's all you really need to know. The Arizona Cardinals, as good as Colt McCoy looked earlier in the season when he filled in for Kyler Murray, he does not present any danger whatsoever in running the ball. This team is not built on like West Coast style passing, which they would need to do with Colt McCoy. So he's going to be a sitting duck back there against Denver's pass rush. And then on the other side of the ball, Arizona does a good job of getting to the quarterback with J.J. Watt, Zach Allen. You got Isaiah Simmons out there playing that like rover position, and it's only going to be Jared Jeudy on the outside with Cortland Sutton still looking like he's going to miss. So neither of these two teams have anything on offense to scare the opposing defense. I think this game is probably played in the 20s, 17-10 or 13-10 type of finish. So 36.5 is far too much for me. So I'm smashing the under here.
Yeah, I like it a lot. A lot of Latavius Murray and James Conner, like it's 2014 all over again. And
the only worry is that like a special teams or defensive touchdown, which
when you have Colt McCoy and Brett Rippon, that's very much in the cards.
Exactly.
But that still could be 17-16, and you end up covering. So I like that call. My third and final play is going to be the New York Football Jets plus the 1. Thanks, FanDuel. Versus the Detroit Lions. The Lions have been great. I've been riding them for 2 weeks, but it's time to get off that horse and switch allegiances. I think you're buying a good spot on the Jets, who are still really good and have been competitive. And even when Mike White's getting obliterated and getting his ribs shattered, he's still sticking in the pocket. They have talent on both sides of the ball. That defense is really good, and Jared Goff's going outside. I think the Lions' offense is fun. I think their dark horse playoff contention is really fun, but this is where the fun stops for them, at least for a week. So I'm fine going with the Jets minus the 1 if that's what you can get. And honestly, I would take it up to probably 2 or 2.5. Anything under 3 is fine. But I think the Jets get right here. I think they have a really nice game. And I think they're like a dark horse. Like they could be a playoff team, especially if Miami's struggles continue. I think they're very much in the realm of possibility. I think if you get them a quarterback next year, maybe a Lamar, maybe a Derek Carr, maybe they're a lot even more impressive. But I think the Jets, this is just a good spot for them. Sell high on the Lions, buy low on the Jets. And anywhere around that +1 to -1 is a excellent bet. So I will take the Jets plus the 1 and go to the window.
Yeah, let me just say on this game, I will avoid this at the sportsbook, being that the New York Football Jets are kind of one of my sleepy favorite teams. I've always kind of liked the Jets, and then the feel-good story of the Detroit Lions. Like, how could you not be rooting for a team led by Dan Campbell, who's telling people to bite their kneecaps off? So this is just going to be one of the better games of the week. I'm excited to watch it, see if Detroit can continue their winning streak, see if the Jets are for real. Like, they're now facing an offense which is probably playing better than what Buffalo is this season. So it's going to be a great game.
Yep. And now your third and final play might be the wildest pick of the day. You're going with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers plus 3.5 at home versus the Bengals. I've been looking for a spot to back the bank or to fade the Bengals because I do think like they're a good team. I just don't think they're as dominant as they've looked over the past month, but I'm not sure this is the spot. Talk me into it.
So honestly, this is definitely more of a feel play for me, but Tampa Bay catching the 3 in the hook at home in a spot that they need to win, with Carolina kind of nipping at their heels, Atlanta nipping at their heels. They're at home, they're dogs at home against the Bengals, who everybody is all about right now. People are comparing Joe Burrow to Tom Brady. All it's going to take is Brady to get a little more in sync with his wide receivers on the outside. Cincinnati is dealing with some injuries to their weapons on the outside, and this could be a spot where it's literally Jamar Chase or bust for the Bengals this week. And I don't care how good you are. If you're limited to one guy on offense, any defense can scheme up something to limit them, not necessarily stop them, but keep them in check. So I think this is a spot that catching 3 and the half is a great play.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely an ultimate spot game. The Bucs could not have looked worse against the Niners, and the Bengals have been on hot fire. I do worry.
But the Niners are like the best defense in the NFL, so you can't.
I worry about the Bucs secondary, which has been really banged up. But if, like you mentioned, if it's just really Jamar Chase and that's kind of it, that is a lot easier to contain. If the Bucs are like a playoff team and they are going to make any sort of noise, this is a spot where they step their game up and they make some serious noise. So I don't hate it. I will not be at the window with you on this one, but this is definitely an interesting spot. So let's recap our card. Let's give the people our units, and let's get out of here. So I have 3 plays, all NFL. On Saturday, I'm taking the Dolphins plus 7.5. Thanks to Caesars, I will take 7 if that's all you can get. I will take the Giants plus the 4.5 at the Commanders, and I will take the Jets plus 1 versus Detroit. I'm going to put 4 units on Jets and Detroit, and I'm going to put 3 units on each of Dolphins, Bills, Dolphins plus 7.5 versus the Bills, and the Giants plus 4.5 versus the Commanders. Brian, break down your card, give the people your 3 bets and your units, and let's get out of here.
All right, so for my first play of the weekend, I'm going to go with the Cowboys at the Jaguars to go over 47.5 at minus 107 over at PointsBet. Second play on the books is going to be the Cardinals at the Broncos under 36.5 over at Caesars at minus 110. And then the last one is going to be Bucks plus 3.5 hosting the Bengals at minus 107 also at PointsBet. And I'm going to go 4 units on both the Cowboys and Jaguars total and on the Cardinals and Broncos total, and then just 2 units on the Bucks catching the 3.5, with that being definitely the riskiest play of the week.
For sure. So that's going to be the one that cashes while you're there.
Of course.
Because that's how this season is going.
Yep.
That is Brian Twining. I'm Kyle Robert. Enjoy your weekend of NFL. Let us know down in the comments your favorite bet for the NFL slate. Hit that thumbs up. Hit subscribe if you've yet to do so. And if you like NASCAR content, make sure you stay tuned to the channel because there is going to be some preseason stuff heading your way. We'll talk to you guys next time.